Hello, everyone. Welcome to our podcast where learning English is easy and fun. I'm your coach, and today we have a special episode where we'll be talking with a native English speaker. You'll hear his accent, learn new words and phrases, and improve your listening skills. In today's episode, we're going to dive into daily routines, hobbies, and what life is like in Austin, Texas. Make sure to listen carefully to the vocabulary and expressions used because we'll break them down later. Are you ready? Let's get started. Today I'm joined by Jake, who's from Austin, Texas in the United States. Jake, thank you for being with us. Could you start by telling us a little bit about your daily routine and what you like to do in your free time?
Hi everyone, I'm Jake and I'm from Austin, Texas. I work as a software engineer, so my day usually starts pretty early. I wake up around 6:30 a.m., have a quick breakfast, and then I start my commute to work. I usually drive about 30 minutes to get to the office. At work, my day is pretty busy. I spend most of my time writing code, attending meetings, and collaborating with my team. It's challenging, but I enjoy it because I get to solve problems and build new things. I usually finish work around 5:30 p.m., but sometimes I have to stay later if there's a deadline.
It sounds like your work keeps you on your toes. Do you find that working as a software engineer is very demanding?
Yes, it can be pretty demanding, especially when we're close to a product launch or a big update. There are always a lot of details to manage, and sometimes things don't go as planned. So you have to be flexible and ready to troubleshoot problems quickly. But I like the challenge, and it's really rewarding to see a project come together after all the hard work.
I can imagine, after such a busy day, how do you usually unwind and relax?
After work, I like to unwind by going for a run or doing some exercise. It helps me clear my mind and stay healthy. Sometimes I meet up with friends for a drink or a meal. We have a lot of great restaurants in Austin, so there's always something new to try. On the weekends, I like to explore the city. Austin has a great music scene with lots of live performances, so I often go to concerts or music festivals.
It sounds like you really enjoy Austin. What do you think makes the city so special?
Austin is really unique. It's known as the live music capital of the world, so there's always live music happening somewhere. The people are very friendly and laid back, and there's a strong sense of community here. We also have great weather, which means there are plenty of opportunities for outdoor activities, like hiking, biking, and kayaking on the lakes. Plus, Austin is famous for its food, especially barbecue and Tex-Mex.
I've heard a lot about Texas barbecue. Do you have a favorite place to eat?
Yes, there are so many great spots. One of my favorites is Franklin Barbecue. It's really popular, so you have to wait in line for a while, but it's worth it. The brisket there is amazing. I also like trying different taco trucks around the city. You can find some really delicious and authentic Tex-Mex food.
Wow, that all sounds delicious. You mentioned the music scene in Austin earlier. Do you play any instruments, or are you just a fan of the music?
I actually play a little bit of guitar. I started learning in college, and while I'm not a professional by any means, I really enjoy playing for fun. Sometimes my friends and I will have small jam sessions, just playing together in someone's living room or out at a park. It's a great way to relax and enjoy the music.
That's awesome. It must be nice to be surrounded by so much live music and be able to participate in it. Do you think being in Austin has influenced your musical tastes?
Definitely. Before I moved to Austin, I was mostly into rock and indie music, but since living here, I've gotten into all kinds of genres, especially country and blues. There are so many talented musicians in this city, and it's really opened my eyes to different styles of music. I also love how diverse the music scene is. You can find everything from jazz to electronic music here.
It's great to hear how Austin has shaped your interests. Speaking of diversity, Austin is also known for its cultural events and festivals. Do you have a favorite festival or event that you look forward to each year?
Yes, definitely. One of my favorite events is South by Southwest, or SXSW. It's a huge festival that combines music, film, and interactive media. The whole city comes alive during that week, and it's amazing to see so many creative people come together. I also love Austin City Limits, which is another big music festival. It's held in Zilker Park and features a mix of big-name artists and up-and-coming bands.
SWW and Austin City Limits both sound incredible. It's clear that Austin has a lot to offer. Now, you mentioned earlier that you work as a software engineer. How did you get into that field? Was it something you always wanted to do?
Not exactly. I've always been interested in technology, but I actually started out studying business in college. It wasn't until I took a couple of computer science classes as electives that I realized how much I enjoyed coding. I ended up switching my major and never looked back. I love the problem-solving aspect of programming and how you can create something out of nothing with just a computer and an idea.
That's a really inspiring story. It shows that it's never too late to find your passion and pursue it. Speaking of passion, do you have any other hobbies or interests outside of work and music?
Yes, I'm also really into outdoor activities. Austin has great weather most of the year, so I try to spend as much time outside as I can. I love hiking, especially in places like the Barton Creek Greenbelt, which has some beautiful trails. I'm also into kayaking and paddleboarding on Lady Bird Lake. It's a great way to stay active and enjoy the natural beauty of the area.
That sounds amazing. It must be so refreshing to have all those outdoor options available. How does the outdoor lifestyle in Austin compare to other places you've lived?
It's definitely one of the things I love most about Austin. I grew up in a small town in the Midwest, where the winters were long and cold, so having access to outdoor activities year-round is a big change. Even when it's hot in the summer, you can always find a way to cool off. Whether it's swimming in Barton Springs or taking a dip in the lake, the city really encourages an active lifestyle, and I think that's one of the reasons why people are so happy and healthy here.
It really does sound like an ideal place to live. Austin is also a big tech hub now, isn't it? Have you seen the city change much since you first moved there?
Absolutely. Austin has changed a lot in the past few years. The tech industry has really taken off here, and with that, we've seen a lot of growth in the city. New companies moving in, more job opportunities, and of course, more people moving to Austin. The city has definitely gotten more crowded, and traffic can be a bit of a challenge now. But overall, it's been positive because it's brought a lot of diversity and innovation to the area.
That's interesting. With so many people moving to Austin, do you find it still easy to meet new people and make friends?
Yes, I think so. Austin is a very social city, and there are always events happening where you can meet new people, whether it's through work, music, or outdoor activities. It's pretty easy to find people with similar interests. Plus, because so many people are new to the city, everyone is really open to making new friends and connections.
That's great to hear. Austin seems like a very welcoming place. You mentioned earlier that you enjoy exploring the food scene in Austin. Do you have any recommendations for someone visiting for the first time?
Definitely, if you're visiting Austin for the first time, you have to try the barbecue. Franklin Barbecue is a must, but if you don't want to wait in line, there are other great spots like Micklethwaite Craft Meats or La Barbecue. For Tex-Mex, I'd recommend checking out places like Matt's El Rancho or Fonda San Miguel. And if you're in the mood for breakfast, you can't go wrong with breakfast taco from Veracruz All Natural.
Those sound like fantastic recommendations. I'll have to try them out next time I'm in Austin. Before we wrap up, I'd like to ask you one more thing. What advice would you give to someone who's learning English and wants to understand different accents?
My advice would be to listen to as much English as possible from different sources. Try watching movies, listening to podcasts, and even talking to native speakers if you can. The more you expose yourself to different accents and styles of speaking, the better your understanding will become. Don't be afraid to ask people to repeat themselves or to slow down if you need it. Practice makes perfect.
Great advice, Jake. Thanks for sharing your experience and tips. Now, let's break down some of the vocabulary and expressions you used.
Let's take a closer look at some of the key words and phrases Jake used in his interview. I'll explain what they mean and how you can use them in your own conversations. Commute. Jake mentioned his commute to work, which is the daily trip you take to and from work or school. For example, you could say, "My commute takes about 20 minutes by bus." Unwind. Jake said, "I like to unwind by going for a run." To unwind means to relax after a long or stressful day. You might say, "I unwind by reading a book before bed." Laid back. Jake described Austin as a laid-back city. Laid back means relaxed and easygoing. You could use it in a sentence like, "My friend has a very laid-back attitude." Brisket. This is a type of meat, usually beef, that's slow-cooked and very popular in Texas barbecue. If you ever visit Texas, you might say, "I'd love to try some authentic Texas brisket." Tex-Mex. A blend of Texan and Mexican cuisines, famous in Texas. For example, you might hear someone say, "Let's go out for Tex-Mex tonight." Jam session. Jake talked about having jam sessions with his friends. A jam session is an informal gathering of musicians who play music together. It's often spontaneous and focused on creativity rather than performance. Let's practice saying these words together: commute, unwind, laid back, brisket, Tex-Mex, and jam session. Repeat after me. Commute, commute, unwind, unwind, laid back, brisket, brisket, Tex-Mex, Tex-Mex, and jam session, Now, let's use these words in sentences. I'll say a sentence, and I want you to repeat it after me. My commute to work takes 30 minutes. My commute to work takes 30 minutes. I like to unwind by listening to music. I like to unwind by listening to music. She's very laid back and easy to talk to. She's very laid back and easy to talk to. Have you ever tried brisket at a barbecue? Have you ever tried brisket at a barbecue? Tex-Mex food is delicious. Tex-Mex food is delicious. We had a fun jam session last night. We had a fun jam session last night.
And that's all for today, friends. Today we heard from Jake from Texas, who told us about his life in Austin and his daily activities. We also learned some new vocabulary and practiced pronunciation together. I hope you enjoyed the episode and found it helpful. Remember, the key to improving your English is consistent practice. If you like this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with your friends. In the next episode, we'll be talking about next podcast topic. See you next time and keep practicing your English.